Hi everybody, I'm your host, Russell Stevens. Welcome to Living Life on Stop Recovery Radio, brought to you by Sobriety Through Outpatient. I'd first like to say thanks and acknowledge our producer, Mr. Robert L. Washington, and also want to take a few minutes out to let everybody know where we are. This is Stop Recovery Radio. The website is stop-philly.org. That's stop-phila.org. And we also have two call-in numbers. The first number is 267-507-2320. I'm going to repeat that, 267-507-2320. And we have a toll-free number as well, 1-800-660-7867, extension 136. I'm going to repeat that. That's 1-800-660-7867. Okay, again, I want to thank everybody this afternoon for tuning into our show. And I'd like to acknowledge our four studio guests that we have this afternoon. First, we have a return guest, Mr. Thomas Empson.
Hello, everyone.
And we have another return guest, Mrs. Margaret Atkins.
Hello, how's everyone?
And who I have here for the first time is Mr. Cedric Henry.
Hello, everyone.
And I also have Mr. Emilio Allen.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Okay, if you guys can remember on our last show, we expanded and talked about the process. The processes that we have to go through in order for us to get better, in order for us to, being able to cope with people, to handle situations, and, just pretty much those things in general. And we understand that the process is a pretty broad topic, because there's a process just about for everything that we do. But the process I'm going to talk about today is really simple, just for me. If any of my panel want to talk about other processes, as long as it's about the process and what processes it takes for you to get to wherever you need to go. For me, it's, we've been talking a lot about respect for the last 24 hours. I think I attended two groups where the theme was respect, and we opened up the Webster's Dictionary and we read the Webster's definition of respect, and it's a very, very simple concept. Well, it is for me. For me, respect simply is having consideration for other people. It's having respect for authority. Having respect for God first and foremost, and I'd like to thank God, my higher power, for, just for the breath of life today. So basically, what I'm saying is I have respect and honor for God, because in that sense, respect and honor go hand in hand, and because of that, I've learned to respect myself, and I was just talking to a gentleman outside a few minutes ago, and he'd mentioned he actually just came out and started talking about respect because of the population that he deals with, and it wasn't a subject that I brought up. It just so happens that he brought it up, and he asked me what I thought about it, and I simply just said to him that, just for me, that once I truly learn to respect myself, then that's free and easy for me to really and truly respect other people, and for me it's not nothing real complicated, it's not the theory of relativity like I've just heard earlier today, and I mean it amazes me that how people can complicate things, but that's okay. That's their frame of thinking, that's their mindset, and that's okay. But for me, respect is real simple. I treat people how I wish to be treated. And for me, that's a very, very basic concept. Doesn't take a rocket scientist or a genius to understand that. And to consider other people's feelings. I want people to consider mine. I'm going to consider other people's. And for me, it's real simple. I respect the pastor and co-pastor at the church that I attend. I have a healthy respect for authority, especially the police, you know, and I think that's a good respect, you know. I respect other people, you know, and sometimes, you know, and I say this from my heart, just for me, that sometimes I've met people that maybe don't deserve respect, but I respect them anyway, you know, because I believe that's what my God wants me to do. You know, whether they deserve respect or not, you know, for me to be a person and a human being, for me, is my duty to respect them anyway, you know. And for me, that's real simple. But I'm going to open up the floor for the panel so they can share their views on the process. They can talk about respect, but as long as we stick to the concept of the process. But I'm going to open up the floor to our panelists, and whatever one wants to speak first, feel free.
Good afternoon. This is Emilio Allen, and my view on respect is respecting those as you want them to respect you. In the process of respecting authorities, respect is like a sword. It can take you or it can make you, but you carry it known by respect that you keep and is given. And foremost, I'd like to respect Co-Pastor Jones and Co-Pastor Diana Jones and the Bethlehem of Deliverance and Josh Achievement Center and First Family. Most of all, I give God the glory. And respect is a very, it's what makes you or take you. It speaks. It's the first thing that you'll leave a person in, and it's the first thing you want to bring to a person. And respecting the wishes is also respect, is giving the respect and the love and appreciation the way they want it done for them. It makes the most happy of all in any situation, whether it be a friend or building or meeting anyone. Let's give them the respect the way they would want it to be given to them and the way they ask. Sometimes doing more than you feel you want to do more. Just give it the way they ask and the way they want it to be done. Any more could be a hinder. And if it's a hinder, it's not respect.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Anyone else?
I'm Cedric Henry, and I would like to say hello to everyone out there. Respect to me is appreciation, you know, gratitude, you know, and showing a person, treating a person how you want to be treated. You know, that's respect to me, you know. Trying not to hurt one's feelings, you know. I guess that sums it up for respect from me.
Okay, Mr. Henry. Ms. Atkins?
Good afternoon. My name is Margaret Atkins, and I look at respect as a very powerful and strong word. It means a lot, and it can go a very, very long ways. It's not what you do, it's how you do it with the respect that you have, first of all, for God, number one. Number two, yourself. And then there's respect for others. I truly respect my higher journey. Love him to death. You know, myself, I used to didn't love myself or respect myself. But I grew to love myself. And now, today, I can say I respect myself. I don't demand respect, I command respect. And saying that is I have respect also for my fellow peers, my just folks today that I didn't have respect for today. Being honest and coming through this program that I'm going through has taught me to have respect for ones that don't even have respect for themselves, let alone me. So with that, you know, respect can carry you a long, long ways. Use it. Don't abuse it. That's all I have to say for respect today.
Thank you, Ms. Atkins. I appreciate, you know, what you said, what Mr. Henry said, and what Mr. Allen said. But I'm gonna take it a little bit further, you know, not to complicate the issue, because for me, respect is a real basic concept. it can be broad in a sense, but for me, I keep it simple. I keep it real basic, you know, because respect for me is not adoration. Respect for me is not putting someone on a pedestal. Respect is just, you know, basically treating them and dealing with them as the way I would wish to be treated. You know, like I had spoke earlier a few minutes about, you know, I've heard people take respect and make it the theory of relativity, and for me, it's just not that deep. It's a real basic, simple concept for me. You know, and when I say those things, I say it just for me. You know, like I had said, you know, it's not putting anyone on a pedestal. It's not really praise, because the only person on you know, in my life that I will exalt or I will be praised is my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. You know, I don't exalt no man, but I respect my fellow man. So for me, there is different as black and white. You know, but I want to just flip it over on the other side for a minute, you know, and I want to just maybe just expand a little bit on disrespect, which is, I guess, you know, pretty much the opposite of respect, you know. And I look at it for me as like, if I guess if I feel disrespected, then maybe I was, but if I don't feel disrespected, then I wasn't. You know, it's I guess maybe it's a matter of perception on the other side. You know, it's sort of like intimidation in a sense. You know, you can only be intimidated if you feel like you have been intimidated. If you feel like you haven't been intimidated, then you haven't been. Well, for me, respect is almost the same way, you know. But, you know, I respect myself to the point where I don't allow anybody to disrespect me, but I'm not saying it in a physical sense. That's not what I mean. What I'm saying is I carry myself, I mean, just for me, and I have that much esteem for myself where I usually don't have that problem, if I ever do have that problem, you know. And if someone does say something out of the way, you know, I don't take it really as disrespect. Maybe they're going through something, or maybe they got something on their mind, or maybe they don't like me for some reason. I don't really know or care. But what it boils down at the end of the day is how I feel about me. You know, I have to feel good about me, regardless of what other people may think. You know, like Miss Atkins said, you know, I have respect for God first and foremost, you know, and that allows me to be able to respect myself, you know. How can I put it? I cannot like a person but respect them, because I think they're two different colors, you know. You know, I cannot like you and respect you, but see, I can like you and respect you too, you know. And for me, they're very, very different from each other, you know. But respect is something that's very basic, and I think it's something that, you know, I always need carry with me. I always need to carry it with me. I always need to give it out, you know, even to people or even situations that others might deem don't deserve respect. Well, I think everybody deserves respect, you know. Even people that are, you know, homeless. I mean, I was homeless before, you know, but I won't disrespect anyone for any reason. You know, it's just not, you know, I don't know. It was a process for me to get to see that. That's what I mean by, you know, a lot of things and everything being a part of the process. Because there was a point in time where I wasn't this way. You know, I never even thought about, you know, there was years ago I never even thought about respect or even what it really, 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 truly meant. I may have known that Webster's definition of it, you know, I may have known how to spell it, but true respect for myself is something that I had to acquire. And it took time, you know, and I owe a lot of credit, and all credit due to God, you know, because He has allowed me to see certain things within myself. You know, He allows me to know that there isn't anything out here that I can't achieve. There isn't anything out here that I can't get or want, you know, as long as I align what I do along with Him, you know. And like I've spoke on before, you know, I have to keep God in everything that I do. And it doesn't really matter what it is. I have to keep him in the forefront of my mind. You know, and that has a lot to do with my self-respect, because it makes me feel good about myself because I know that I'm doing the right thing. But I say that just for me. You know, it may be different for other people. You know, but I just feel as though maybe we should expand on the process a little bit more, dealing with respect. But like I said, if there's any other process that anybody else wants to talk about, you know, right now, that's okay. You know, but just for me, the theme for the day is respect. You know, tomorrow, I don't know. You know, but for me, respect is very basic. You know, me respecting God and respecting myself to the utmost, you know, makes me feel good. Are there any other comments? It doesn't have to be on respect. It could be any type of process that you may have to go through, or you know, or what you're trying to achieve.
Well, for one, I like to achieve the renewing of the mind and the body and soul. Is a process of time and patience. In that, I learned that people's lack of respect showed me a strength that I had, and what strength I had inside of me. Was I really grasping that book? Was I grasping the fruits, and showed the fruits of Galatians, coming out of Galatians chapter 5, the fruits of the Spirit, meekness and engrafted word in us, meek and humbleness, temperance, you know, humbleness, love and joy and patience. If lack of respect shows me one thing from a person dealing with somebody that's disrespectful, you know, I'm definitely not gonna get a rise out of me, but it's gonna show me that you put yourself at their weakness, that weakness of putting, whether it be music. Lack of respect could be articulated a lot of ways, verbally, lyrically, physically, or shown to be given. But any way that lack of respect is given, it opens you up to an attack, and it also shows you're weak. And a mental level, it shows you're weak. And when that is given back to me, that lack of respect, that shows me that I'm gonna most have to leave you where you at and pray for you, and for me to react to your weakness. It doesn't show any good for anything. It shows I'm just as bad as you. For me to be a role model and to say God bless you, as I said before, and sit there and let it bounce off. I can't let words. I've been have most of the most heaviest words since school, like in '98. I done heard some of the most nastiest words in battling and rap battling and stuff. And I'm going to tell you, these things only build energy because I know they're words that can't affect me. And it very more or less sticks to stones and break your bones. But when you can laugh through your own falls and follies, a lack of respect is generated off a vibe. You're only hurting yourself, and more or less you're doing it to yourself. And when you put yourself in that position and you step up in the game, you would see it from my point of view, that you make yourself your own entertainment for us and everything around you. And it's like a cry of yelling for help. It shows how small-minded, whether it be disrespecting woman, abusing woman, verbally or physically abuse, harassment, these kind of things, you know, it shows that you're crying out for help. And that most generally the help that you receive for it is generally the help that is due, a due judgment, a balanced judgment that is given for that. You know, see these things. That's the most I can say about respect. I mean, you know, I love you, I care about you, you know, but things like that is embraced only, as it says in the book, to be reversed. It's the best supplement for you. A little Galatians chapter 5, the fruits of the Spirit, is the best remedy for you.
Okay, Mr. Allen, I appreciate that. We haven't heard anything from you, Mr. Remsen. Do you have any opinions or views on respect? Or any type of process that you might be going through?
Well, I definitely see respect as just a way you carry yourself when dealing with people or even certain situations and predicaments. And to me, disrespect is the exact opposite, because it's not having that same level of care or concern in a certain predicament or situation. And I just feel that respect is very important as far as communicating, especially when individuals are involved whom the message is important. So I just think the level of respect that you feel you should get from people is the same level of respect you should give to people, basically. That's all I have.
Okay. I'm going to put a situation out there that I encountered maybe a couple of months ago. And and I felt as though someone was being inconsiderate, but I didn't take it to the far as, to the extent of disrespect, because I feel too much about myself. But I remember one night, the situation that I'm living in, we got a washer and dryer up there in the sleeping area. And there are designated times for, that washer and dryer to be on. Well, we had a new person entered our facility, and he took it upon himself to start washing clothes at around 11 p.m. Now, 11 p.m., everybody's supposed to be in bed, feet off the floor. If you got your headphones, your radio on, you put it on, because we don't want anybody disturbing anybody else. And that's very simply doing it out of respect for people that are sleeping close to you or around you, Well, this gentleman wanted to wash clothes at 11 o'clock at night. And you know what? And we actually allowed him to do it, And we sat around and we just waited to see how long that this gentleman was going to continue to wash clothes, or even say anything to anybody about why he was doing it, because he blatantly knew that he was breaking the rules. So what happened was we let it go. Nobody didn't want no confrontation, because all it would have done was caused a problem, which probably would have woken up everybody in the house that night. So we pretty much let it go. And that morning, we confronted the gentleman and asked him, why would you do that? Why would you wait till sleeping hours to decide to get up and wash clothes, knowing that it's against the rules, knowing that, you could be disturbing people? Well, he gave the his explanation was twofold. The first thing he said was, I don't know. You know what? I can't even quote what he said, but it was a jailhouse mentality that he came out with. He used a couple of bad words like "f this" and "look, man, it ain't," and we listened to it. Then I said to him that, what you did was really inconsiderate, considering everybody else that's staying in this room, and they had the actual nerve to say, well, how? And I'm saying, and I didn't really get into how. I didn't really want to. I just wanted to hear his response to, allow me to know where he's really coming from. So I may have said something wrong. I said my 3-year-old son would have known better. And I think I insulted the guy, because he said to me, I'm not a 3-year-old. And I said, I know you're not a 3-year-old. You're a 40-something-year-old man. That's, really. And he didn't apologize then. He waited till our morning devotion to apologize. He didn't do it, to any individual. He put it out there. I guess maybe he took a minute to think about it, but he justified his behavior by saying that I'm working on something. I'm not there yet. And, and I think I spoke on here before. For me, that's an excuse. That's a justification of why you did, or why your behavior is why your behavior. And I believe that. That's just how I am. But that's just an example, because I felt as though it was very inconsiderate, and those are the words that I used. Given a different situation with maybe different people in the room, it may have turned out a lot different. It may have turned out and have escalated into something that, you'd wind up disturbing everybody in the house, waking the house managers up and everybody else up. But it didn't get to that point, because we pretty much was able to contain it by how we dealt with it, and personally I didn't see anything wrong with the way we dealt with it. I thought we dealt with it the right way. No one used any bad words or any profanity towards him, even though he did towards us, but we didn't really stoop to his level at that moment. you know, and it was real important not to do that. So basically, we were showing him respect when he didn't show it for us, you know, and